Welcome to Heart of the Guardians, where we bring you stories that touch the soul, stir the heart, and remind you that even in the harshest lands of the Wild West, humanity, love, and redemption still bloom like wildflowers through the dust. So saddle up, partner, because today's story will take you deep into the heart of the frontier, where survival wasn't about who was the fastest with a gun, but who was brave enough to open their heart. Our story begins in the late 1800s, near the border of New Mexico and Arizona, a place where the land itself seemed to breathe with danger. Outlaws, drifters, and broken souls wandered through the desert, looking for gold, redemption, or revenge. But not everyone came to take. Some came to give, even if life had given them nothing in return. There was a small ranch called Red Mesa, run by a man named Clay Warren. Clay wasn't your typical rancher. He wasn't born into money or land. He had earned every inch of Red Mesa with his bare hands, and with the blood that had spilled during his years as a cavalry scout. People said Clay didn't talk much about the past, but you could see it in his eyes, the weight of things no man should have to remember. He lived alone, or at least, he used to. Until the day a wagon came crawling up the dusty road, drawn by a dying mule and carrying 3 children, 2 boys and a little girl. Their faces were sunburned, their clothes torn, and their eyes empty. The eldest boy, maybe 13, stepped down first. He had his father's defiance, but his voice trembled when he spoke. "Sir, our ma said this was the last safe place before the desert. She said you'd know what to do." Clay stared at the boy, confused, and then his gaze shifted to the back of the wagon. There, wrapped in a blanket, was a woman, still, pale, lifeless. Their mother hadn't made it. Clay swallowed hard, his throat tightening. He'd seen death 1,000 times, but this was different. Because now death had left something behind, 3 innocent lives. He could have sent them away. He could have said it wasn't his problem. But something deep inside him, something he thought he'd buried with the war, told him that if he turned them away now, he'd never sleep another night in peace. Mary turned and smiled. "Pa," she said softly, "this is Nita. She helped us get here." Ethan nodded stiffly. "Ma'am." "Sir," the woman replied, her voice calm, low, and soft like the whisper of a river. He didn't ask more that night. But as the girls unpacked their things, laughter filling the air again, Ethan couldn't help but notice the quiet strength in Nita's movements. She carried herself with grace, but there was something else, a sadness that mirrored his own. When the stars came out, and the girls were asleep, Ethan went out to the porch again. He found Nita there, sitting silently, looking at the sky. "You're Apache?" he asked gently. She nodded. "White Mountain Band," she said. "My father was a scout. He rode for the army once. Died for them." Ethan looked away. "I'm sorry." Nita's gaze softened. "Everyone has ghosts, cowboy. Yours walk close." Her words struck him. He didn't answer, but she could tell she was right. The next morning, life began to return to the ranch. The girls wanted to help, feeding the chickens, brushing the horses, cooking breakfast. Laughter echoed again through the dusty air, and even Ethan found himself smiling. Nita stayed for a few days, helping around the place. She knew horses better than most men. Ethan watched her from the corral, amazed at the way even the wildest colt calmed under her hand. "How do you learn that?" he asked once. "My grandfather taught me," she replied with a small smile. "He said a horse listens to your heart, not your hands." That night, over dinner, Mary and June whispered excitedly. They adored Nita, following her everywhere, asking her to tell stories of her people, tales of mountains, rivers, and spirits that guarded the land. Ethan listened quietly, pretending not to care, but the warmth in his chest told another story. Days turned into weeks. Nita's few days stretched longer. She had nowhere else to go. Her village had been burned during a raid by outlaws. She had escaped with nothing but the clothes she wore and a scar across her arm that she tried to hide. Ethan offered her a room. "Just till you get your bearings," he said. She smiled. "Then I'll work for my keep." He didn't argue. They settled into a rhythm. She tended the horses, taught the girls how to weave baskets, and cooked alongside them. Ethan began to feel alive again, as though the years of loneliness were slowly peeling away. But small towns talk. One afternoon, when Ethan went to town for supplies, the whispers began. Cole's got an Apache woman living with him, one man sneered. Ain't right. Ethan ignored it, but the words burned. When he got home, he told Nita what they said. She looked at him, calm and steady. You ashamed of me, cowboy? He met her eyes, and shook his head. No, just. Folks don't understand. Nita smiled sadly. They never do. My people call it fear. Yours call it pride. The next few days, the tension grew. Someone shot a hole through the ranch gate one night. Another time, Ethan found a dead crow nailed to his barn door, a warning. He was furious. If they want a fight, he growled, I'll give them one. But Nita stopped him. Violence brings more pain, she said. I've seen too much of it. Then one evening, everything changed. The girls were down by the creek when a group of men rode up. Drunk, loud, and cruel. They were the same ones from town. Ethan was in the barn when he heard the screams. He ran out, shotgun in hand, just as the men tried to grab Nita. Leave her, he roared. They laughed. You protecting her now, Cole? Didn't think you'd fall for a red-skinned squaw. The sound of the gun cut through the air. Ethan's shot hit the ground between their boots. Next one goes higher, he warned. The standoff lasted seconds. Then they turned and rode off, cursing. When the dust settled, Ethan turned to Nita. She was shaking, her braid loose, her eyes bright with tears she refused to shed. He stepped closer. I'm sorry, he said softly. She looked up at him, her voice breaking. You have nothing to be sorry for. For the first time, he took her hand. It was small, but strong. And in that simple touch, something shifted. That night, they sat by the fire, silent for a long while. Then Nita spoke. When I was little, she said quietly, my mother told me, when two souls are broken the same way, they can heal each other.